Council will be in order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Walsh.
Present.
Present. Counselor Fenton. Present. Counselor Perez.
Present.
Present. Counselor Whitfield. Absent. Counselor Govan.
Present.
Present. Counselor Allen.
Present.
Present. Counselor Brown.
Present.
Present. Counselor Hurst. Absent. Counselor Click Bruce. Absent. Counselor Edwards.
Present.
Present. Counselor Curran.
Present.
Present. Counselor Davila. Absent. Counselor Letterman.
Present. Will council and guests please rise and join me in a moment of silence? Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You can all be seated. Madam Clerk, please call the first item.
The first item is a petition for 622 Cottage Street fuel storage.
Is there anyone here to speak to this item, 622 Cottage Street? Please step forward. State your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Philippe Cravo, of our Levesque Associates, 40 School Street, Westfield.
Floor is yours.
What's that? I'm here tonight with the applicant, Mr. Stephen Chase of Chase Realty Holdings. We are here tonight for the license application for the proposed installation of two 30,000-gallon underground storage tanks, propane storage tanks. The project is located at 622 Cottage Street. It's currently zoned Industrial A. There's an existing building and existing site improvements. There's no new buildings going up. Literally the installation of the two storage tanks off towards the north end or the north of the property. Just to kind of give a summary of the process we've been through, we have submitted for the application, which has been reviewed by the Springfield Fire Department, and we do have a signed copy of that license application from the fire department, and that's really it. And we're here to answer any questions that the council might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council? Councilor Allen?
So you're here representing the fire department?
Not the applicant. Who's
The
here?
applicant.
Yes. Yep.
So the applicant, have you been to the fire department for approvals or any of that?
Yes,
That's all set?
correct.
Okay. And did you say there's no new buildings? It just, there's,
Correct. There's an existing building on the property, no new buildings, but the installation of underground storage tanks with a perimeter of bollards, protection bollards.
it's all on that same parcel?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Councilor Whitfield?
Counselor Whitfield.
Present.
Thank you. Are there any further questions for the petitioner? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the petition.
On approving the petition, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield.
Abstain.
Abstain. Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst. Absent. Counselor Click Bruce. Absent. Counselor Edwards. Yes. Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila. Absent. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The petition is approved.
Great.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call item, Councilor Allen.
Was that a 7 vote or a 9?
7 votes. It was a petition,
7
not a
for
special
that,
permit. Madam Clerk, please call item 2.
Item 2 is for a special permit for an accessory wall sign above the first floor at the properties known as 55 Emery Street and 6 Liberty Street.
Is the petitioner present? Please step forward. This is a special permit hearing. Will be run in accordance with the rules of the Springfield City Council. Proponents for the special permit will be awarded 20 minutes to present their case before the City Council. Opponents will be entitled to the same right. Both sides are entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. At this time, I'll declare that the public hearing is now open and recognize the petitioner as the first proponent. Please state your name and address for the record.
David Bornstein, 52 Republic Drive, Bloomfield, Connecticut.
And the floor is yours.
These are lighted signs for building a full block on 55 Emery Street. It also goes on Liberty Street as well. And they're just lighted signs for the building representing Devon Self-Storage.
Thank you. Do you wish to offer anything further?
No.
Okay.
Thanks.
At this time, then, we'd ask that you step aside. Are there any further individuals present, virtually or in person, to speak in favor of the special permit? Seeing none, are there any individuals present virtually or in person to speak in opposition to the special permit? Say again, are there any individuals present to speak in opposition? Seeing none, while the hearing remains open, are there any questions from members of the council? Councilor Allen. Phil.
Basically, my questions, Phil, are size of the sign and also the height above ground. So are we all right on those two things?
Yeah, I believe the signs are approximately 65 square feet each, so they're well below what would have been allowed if you calculated the size of the building. And they're going to be, at least the one on 55 Emery is at the, I think it's a 4-story building. It's at the top of the 4 stories. So basically, if you're driving along north on 91, as you turn onto 291, the sign would be right there on the old Kitcher's
On
building.
top of the building or?
No, just, it's on the side of the
On the
building.
side.
We don't allow roof signs anymore.
And there'll be 1 or 2 signs?
I believe there's 2. And then there's additional signage that'll be located on the lower portion of the building, which don't trigger the special permit. And as noted in the analysis, this particular section of the building, the 4-story brick building, was put into a local historic district, and the signs have been approved by the commission.
Okay. Great. Thank you. All set.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Madam Clerk, please recognize Councilor Davila.
Counselor Davila? Present.
Are there any further questions from members of the council while the public hearing remains open? Seeing none, without objection, I'll now declare that the public hearing is closed. Is there any deliberation amongst members of the council prior to our vote on the special permit? Say again, any further deliberation? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the special permit. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On approving the special permit, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton? Yes. Yes. Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst, absent. Counselor Click Bruce, absent. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Kern?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The special permit is approved. Councilor Fenton on the reasons.
Specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use, and we incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision as the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Is there any discussion on the reasons? Seeing no discussion, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the reasons.
On approving the reasons, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst, absent. Counselor Click Bruce, absent. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 3.
Item 3 is for a special permit motor vehicle repair at the property known as 62 Fremont Street.
Is the petitioner present? Please step forward. So the special permit hearing will be run in accordance with the same rules as previously stated. The petitioner will be entitled to 20 minutes before the council. Opponents to the permit will also be entitled to 20 minutes. Both sides will be entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. At this time, I'll declare that the public hearing is now open and recognize the petitioner. Please state your name and address for the record.
Pedro Rodriguez. My address is 6264 Fremont Street.
And the floor is yours. Could you tell the council about your special permit? Oh. Certainly. Do you require interpretation?
¿Cómo fue? Yes.
Councilor Govan, would you be willing? Sure. Thank you so much. So the question is simply stating that the floor is his to present his permit application.
Yo quiero hacer auto repairs.
So he wants to open up an auto repair shop.
And does he wish to share any further information with the council?
¿Hay más información que quiere compartir?
Básicamente, ¿sabe? Yo quiero, si me dan la oportunidad de, ¿sabe? Porque lo que pasa es que yo tengo un taller de goma. Y, exactamente. Entonces, a veces hay cajos que uno le va a cambiar la goma y tiene partes malas. Y uno va, sí puedo hacer, ¿sabe? El trabajo completo.
Claro. So he said that he currently owns like a tire shop right there, and he says once in a while people bring their cars in to get tires fixed, but they need to have auto repair done. So he wants to be able to include the auto repair in the shop.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We ask you to step aside.
Okay.
Are there any further individuals present to speak in favor of the special permit, either in person or virtually? Again, are there any further individuals present to speak either in person or virtually in favor of the special permit? Seeing none, are there any individuals present to speak in opposition? If you're present to speak in opposition, we'd ask that you step forward at this time. And Councilor Govan, if you're willing, I think it would be appropriate to interpret the opposition as well so that the petitioner can hear what is going on in the hearing. So ma'am, could you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Mary Mursky. I live at 66 Fremont Street, and I lived there my entire
Ma'am,
life.
I'm so sorry. If you could just bring the microphone
Oh.
down so that everybody can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, the floor
Okay.
is yours.
Do you want me to repeat what I just said?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Mary Mursky. I live at 66 Fremont Street, and I've lived there my entire life. I am one of the abutters, and I'm against granting the special permit for auto repair. When the business first moved in, I was told it was going to be a tire shop, and clearly that is not what it has been for the past few years. This business has grown, and so has the problems. The first problem is parking. Getting out of my driveway is difficult when he is working on vehicles or just having them park close to my driveway. The spot between my driveway and his driveway is actually not a legal parking space. No parking signs went up, still parking there. Most importantly, for me to come in and out of my driveway, it's a very tight squeeze, but if I'm hit by an oncoming vehicle, I am automatically at fault. It affects my insurance, I'm surcharged, my insurance goes up. That's one of my biggest problems, and I've been telling him this for a few years now.
Ma'am, could you just pause for one moment? And Councilor Govan, could you provide some interpretation, please?
So, esta es Mary, ella vive en la 66 de la Fremont Street. Ella está apuesta al permiso porque desde que el negocio empezó, ella ha tenido problemas con los carros parqueándose ahí. I don't know how to say driveway in Spanish. Los carros saliendo del negocio y ella saliendo de la casa de ella pueden causar accidentes. I'm not sure if you said that there have been accidents. No.
There have been close calls
Okay.
with me going out of my driveway,
Okay, so let me
but
say
no
that.
accidents.
Okay, so ella tiene miedo que quizás alguien le pueda dar al carro de ella y si eso pasa le puede afectar al seguro y le pueden aumentar el seguro.
Thank you, Councilor Govan.
Thank
You can
you.
continue.
Secondly, cleaning the shop floor, whether mopping or hosing, almost on a daily basis. Everything comes flowing by my house into the sewer system near my house. Whatever's in that water, whatever fluids come from a car. Inoperable vehicles have been towed in front of my house and left there for days. In front of my house, he has checked cars with the hood up. And one time, in front of his shop, there was a car he was fixing. A car pulled up, double parked in the street, and the hood went up so that they could check the car. This building has been here for a very long time, and it has been a tough place for a business to operate because of the location. But somehow the businesses and the abutters made it work in the past. This is the first time we have had problems like this. Do you want me to stop, sir?
Thank you. Councilor Govan.
Y cuando ellos limpian el sitio a donde los cajos están arreglándose, la agua sale y entra cerca de la casa de ella y en el sistema de agua de ella cerca de la casa. Ella se está quejándose de que hay cajos enfrente de la casa de ella parqueados. A veces los parquean ahí, los dejan ahí. Y trabajan en los cajos enfrente de la casa de ella. Go ahead.
Continue. This location is not suitable for an auto repair shop. There is no room for expansion, especially in its present state. It can't expand either on either side or go backwards. Only going forward, what he is doing right now, working in the street, blocking the sidewalk, working on cars. When people have to walk by or kids ride bikes, they have to go into the street. This clearly has a negative effect on the abutters and the street. I respectfully ask this council to consider everything I've said before granting the special permit. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Govan.
Ella dice que este sitio no es bueno para un negocio de arreglar cajos porque no hay espacio para expandir o aumentar el negocio. La única manera que pueden aumentar es ir para el frente a donde están haciéndolo ahora y salir a la calle. Esto ha causado un impacto negativo al vecindario y ella está en oposición al permiso.
Thank you, Councilor Govan, and thank you. Are there any further individuals present to speak in opposition to the special permit? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Shane Millett, 28 Wendell Place, Springfield, Mass.
And Mr. Millett, if you could similarly pause every few sentences, it would be greatly appreciated.
I'm going to be very brief. I won't take advantage of the interpreter.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'm the chairman of the Metro Unit C3 South End Sector E Community Meetings.
Él es está cogiendo las reuniones de la policía y la comunidad en ese vecindario.
These meetings are attended by the C3 Police, Springfield Ordnance Squad, City Inspectors, and residents.
Y las reuniones van la policía, el equipo de ordenanza, los residentes y negocios.
During the course of these meetings, that business has come up numerous times with various violations.
So, durante estas reuniones, este negocio, el tópico de este negocio han traído violaciones de ordenanzas.
We understand it's a tire shop and wants to expand to a full-service shop.
Entienden que es un sitio para arreglar goma y quieren hacer un sitio de arreglar carro.
We feel it does not fit on that small street or have the adequate parking or space needed for a full-service shop.
Ellos se creen que no hay un sitio ahí para tener un servicio de arreglar carro porque el sitio es muy pequeño en esa esquina del vecindario.
Thank you for your time.
Gracias.
Thank you. Are there any further individuals present to speak in opposition? Please state your name and address for the record.
Leo Florian, Wendell Place, President of the South End Citizens Council. Just real quick, I don't know the proponents. We've never met. They've never came to the neighborhood council to tell us what they had plans to do. The only thing that I have heard is comments from the residents. And going back a year or so, another auto repair shop came in front of you just one street over. And when they came in, it was the same situation. They had a very small area, and very quickly, their business grew so fast. The cars were on the sidewalks, the cars were in the driveways, the cars were all over the streets.
Mr. Florian? just
Oh,
one
Thank
moment.
you.
Counselor, go ahead.
Sorry. So Leo es el presidente del vecindario en el sur de la ciudad. El negocio nunca vino al concilio del vecindario. Hace un año que otro equipo de arreglar cajos abrió en ese mismo vecindario y la área es bien pequeña y el negocio aumentó y todos los cajos estaban saliendo a la calle, en la acera, y no era bueno.
And again, like I said, we never had a chance to meet.
Right.
I'm sure they're very nice people and do very good work. Our just concern is what happened one street over. The business on the next street over had to buy the property next to them and 2 lots on Columbus Avenue to handle the volume of business that they now have. There's no option for that here. And if they're going to be moving, you think that, okay, it'll start off small, but if you're a good mechanic and do good work, that place will be crowded quickly.
So if I may.
Yeah.
So él dice que el negocio que abrió en la otra calle, el negocio aumentó mucho y ellos tuvieron que comprar 2 áreas en ese sitio, y a donde está este negocio hoy no hay sitio para hacer eso. So, si eres un mecánico bueno, el negocio va a aumentar y van a tener que expandir, y no hay sitio ahí para expandir. Y él dice que está seguro que la gente son muy buena y que este negocio es bueno, pero nunca nunca fueron al concilio del vecindario.
Thank you. And like I said, it's just not the business, it's the location. We just don't feel they'll be able to handle it.
So, no es el negocio, es el local a donde quieren hacer el negocio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Florian. Are there any further individuals present, either personally, in person, or virtually, who would like to testify in opposition to the special permit? Seeing none, at this time, the petitioner will have a chance for rebuttal.
So, no hay más nadie que va a hablar apuesto al permiso. Reparo, si usted quiere venir para rebatar.
So if you have anything further that you would like to share in response.
¿Hay algo más que quiere compartir?
Sí, básicamente yo soy nuevo en esa área. ¿Sabe? Yo renté el local porque anteriormente habían otros talleres ahí. Y como yo sé que mucha gente ha cometido cosas diferentes, cada cual corre su taller diferente. Yo lo único que le pido es que me den la oportunidad. Yo sé que las cosas van a correr diferentes.
Okay.
¿Sabe? Yo hablé con el dueño del building y él me dijo que yo puedo parquear los carros en el parqueo de él, que no hay ningún problema con eso. Okay. Y sé que el área es un poquito incómodo. Y yo le puedo dar el respeto, ¿sabes?, a los vecinos míos, y si los puedo ayudar a ellos, también yo los ayudo, porque yo no tengo ningún problema con eso, man.
Ok, para aclarar, usted habló con el dueño del building al lado, y él dijo que usted puede parquear los carros ahí.
Sí, al cruzar la carretera.
Al cruzar la calle. Okay. So he said that he's new to the area. He said that there were other businesses there in the past, and that he knows that there were some issues. He said he'll run things differently. He spoke to an owner, I guess, of a lot across the street, and he said that he told him that he could park his cars across the street. So, ¿cuánto tiempo ha estado ahí?
Yo básicamente llevo como...
I just asked him how long he's been there.
Como un año y pico, porque estaba arreglando muchas cosas ahí.
So he said he's been there about a year and a half.
Thank you, Councilor.
¿Hay algo más?
Eso es todo.
That's it.
All Are there any further individuals who would wish to testify in favor of the special permit? Seeing none. Oh, you would? Yes? Okay.
Yes, how you doing? My name is Ron Brace.
Mr. Brace,
I
if
don't
you,
even know this man.
Mr. Brace, if you could just state
Hello.
your name and address for the
How you
record.
doing? This is my first time one of these meetings, but anyways, I don't know this brother here, but it sounds like the concerns I've heard in relation to him and owning a business, in relation to him growing as a business, I don't think he should be chastised. I don't think he should be not allowed to operate a business because they may grow out of the area, or whatever. That's another thing, but I think he should be given the opportunity to operate his business. That's all I want to say after hearing all this.
Thank you, Mr. Brace.
You're welcome.
Councilor Govan, could you summarize
So,
that?
él dijo, este es Ronald Brace, él no lo conoce, pero él dice que él cree que se debe de darle una oportunidad para que el negocio abra y que él haga negocio en ese vecindario.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any further individuals who wish to speak in favor of the special permit? Seeing none? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sean Warren, 53 Peekskill Avenue. I'm a small business owner as well, and I feel this gentleman's pain. I mean, he's trying to feed his family, take care of business. I mean, if his business grows, like Mr. Brace said, he'll find a bigger location that fulfill his need. But if y'all could give him a chance, that'll be great.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Govan.
Y este Sean, él tiene un negocio también y él también cree que se le debe dar una oportunidad a este señor que haga negocio ahí y si el negocio crece, pues quizás él puede buscar otra localización a donde puede hacer negocio en más. ¿Entiende? My Spanish is awful. Go ahead.
Thank you, Councilor Govan.
But it's clear. You entendió, ¿verdad que sí? Okay. Some words I just don't.
Okay.
On the spot like
I
this.
understand. Thank you so much, Councilor Govan. Are there any further individuals who wish to participate in rebuttal on behalf of the petitioner? This would be rebuttal in favor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. At this time, seeing no further rebuttal in favor, opponents are also entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. Are there any individuals who wish to present during that time in opposition? Please step forward. And please state your name and address again.
Mary Mercy, Fremont Street.
And just bring that microphone down.
He's been there longer than a year and a half. In the parking lot that he's talking about, the man who owns the building where he rents from owns that parking lot. And the city's been down there. What he has been parking in that lot is unregistered cars, cars that have plates on them that belong on other cars, and cars with no plates.
If you could pause for a moment, Councilor Govan.
Esta es Mary Murphy. Ella dice que este negocio ha estado ahí más de un año y que el señor que tiene la área al cruzar la calle parquea cajos ahí que son no están registrados, no tienen licencia, no tienen tablilla.
You may continue.
He's had an 18-wheeler that was on East Columbus Avenue and Fremont Street, and the next thing I know, it's parked in front of my house. He fixes big box trucks in the street. Most of his work prior to the past couple of months has been done in the street or on the sidewalk, and he has been there longer than a year and a half.
So, ella dice que un truck de 18, I don't know how to say that, un truck grande estaba parqueado enfrente de la casa de ella. Was he working on the truck, you said?
Most definitely.
Okay, so él estaba trabajando en el truck y él arregla cajos que son grandes y que enfrente de la casa de ella, en la calle, y que él ha estado ahí más de un año y medio. Anything else?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Gracias.
Thank you. Are there any further individuals who wish to provide rebuttal in opposition at this time? Mr. Millett, please state your name and address again.
Shane Millett, 28 Wendell Place.
Floor is yours.
I have driven by that establishment many of times, and I know exactly when Mary's talking about. It was a white, huge Mack truck. It was less than 2 feet away from her property line. So if she did back out of the property, she would have had big problems. And she is also correct. That's some of the numerous violations I was talking about.
So, él dice que él verificó que él pasó por ahí y había un truck blanco bien grande parqueado enfrente de la casa de ella, y si ella salía de la casa de ella le había dado al truck, y que han habido muchas violaciones ahí.
The violations were against where he parks his cars unregistered. Some of them were, like she said, had different plates on them. If I remember correctly, they had to remove up to 7 vehicles from the property for different violations. So that's it. Thank you again for your time.
And those were parked in front of the house or across
In
the
the
street?
parking lot where he
Okay.
rents.
Okay.
No,
So,
the only thing that was parked in front of the house was the big
truck.
rig.
Okay.
Yes. And he was working on it, I'm sorry.
Okay. So, él verificó que estaba trabajando en ese truck y los carros que estaban parqueados al cruzar la calle en la área donde pueden parquear los carros no estaban registrados y tenían tablillas que no estaban legal. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Are there any further individuals who wish to provide rebuttal in opposition to the special permit? Mr. Florian, please state your name and address again.
Leo Florian, 18 Wendell, President of the South End Council. And again, when it comes, it's just such a tough situation when you have a business literally in between 2 houses. You know, that's going to be tough no matter what kind of business it is. And when we talk about possible expansion, well, he's already doing a tire business, and if he wants to go into doing auto repairs, he's expanding now. And I'm only going by what I'm told that comes to the neighborhood council and some of the issues that were brought up. Going back, as soon as there was any kind of problem, I wish he had come to us where we would be able to sit down and say, okay, what's going on there? And really try to make it work. I mean, we want to see the business people succeed.
Okay, if I may,
Go ahead.
please.
Yeah,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
So, Leo Fiore, otra vez, él es el presidente del concilio del vecindario del sur en Springfield, y entiende que es bien difícil tener un negocio entre 2 casas y que ahora están creciendo, el negocio está creciendo, y que el miedo que ellos tienen es que no van a poder crecer más porque ahora están en la calle. So, él quisiera que ustedes fueran al concilio de vecindarios cuando habían problemas en el principio, pero nunca fueron al concilio.
Okay. And like I said, we want the businesses to succeed, but we also have to take into account the residents that have been there, especially those that have been there their whole life, and you know, try to make it work. But as of right now, like I says, and I've lived in that neighborhood my whole life too, I could only go by, because I don't live on that street, but I could only go by what the reports that come in when we have the C3 meetings and they mention the address. And obviously, with the issues that are happening, it's because he has business. So he must be doing a good job that he's having that volume of business, that he has to do some of the things that he's doing. But we got to take into consideration the residents that are there and what the potential problems might be. That's all.
Sí, él dice que él quiere que los negocios en esta ciudad sean bien exitosos, pero tienen que considerar los vecinos y también que van a crecer los negocios. I think is that all he said, Victor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Are
you.
there any further individuals who wish to testify in rebuttal on behalf of the opposition to the special permit, either virtually or in person? Seeing none, that will end public testimony on the permit. We'll enter questions from members of the council while the hearing remains open. And Councilor Govan, Councilor Davila has graciously offered to also assist with interpretation during this portion so as to not put the full responsibility on yourself.
Thank you.
And so at this time, are there any questions from members of the council? Councilor Allen?
Could I have, we have Mr. Dromey come out?
Yeah, Mr. Jerome. And Councilor Allen and Phil, again, because this is a public hearing, I want to ensure that the petitioner is able to understand what is going on during the course of business. So as you proceed, if you could pause briefly so that Councilor Davila can summarize for the petitioner.
Mr. President, if I may, to Mr. Martinez, I believe, just to let him know that I'm going to be translating.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Señor Martínez.
Rodriguez.
Rodríguez, perdón, Rodríguez. Sí, buenas tardes. Yo le voy a estar traduciendo a usted, le voy a estar traduciendo a usted lo que van a estar diciendo aquí. ¿Está bien? Good.
So Phil, obviously, if you've heard this testimony, there's some problems at that site. Are you familiar with the business that was there before this person owned it and whether there have been problems in the past?
I am not. Oh, sorry.
Señor Phil, ¿usted está consciente del tipo de negocio que quieren poner y si han habido problemas anteriormente? Y contestó no.
Yeah, a tire shop isn't considered motor vehicle repair, so it doesn't trigger the special permit requirement. So these don't come through my office, these types of businesses.
Una tienda que vende gomas no es considerada un auto repair para reparar carros y por lo tanto no necesita un permiso para cambiar gomas.
So when this was originally approved, it didn't need a special permit?
No. It doesn't trigger the need for a special permit for this use.
O sea que cuando usted estaba en función con vendiendo gomas necesitaba un permiso, contestó no.
Maybe it should.
You could certainly make that argument.
Y a lo mejor eso necesita un permiso, creo que necesita un permiso y el señor le contesta que a lo mejor.
So we have a business that's not a low impact business, but a business that it's okay to locate there. But as soon as the person starts to expand it in a logical way, it creates these other issues. So have you got any experience with this kind of thing in other streets? Well, it'd be nice if we could figure this out, but I'm not
Well,
sure.
I certainly, what Mr. Florian mentioned about the special permit just to the north of this site, that one, when I went and visited, you could immediately tell there was cars all over the place. So that one, when I visited this site, it looked well-maintained, and, the building appears to be one that has been used for automotive uses in the past. So I did not see a land use issue, but obviously I didn't see the issues that were raised tonight.
O sea que cuando usted fue a visitar, ¿usted conoce algún tipo de otra ocasión en que haya negocios en cual sea similar al que usted está proponiendo? Y si ha habido algún tipo de problemas, le contesta que no ha habido problema, que cuando él fue a ver el local tenía muchos carros en el local, pero que la propiedad se veía limpia y apropiada.
I also, as I do with all special permits, we suggest strongly that they contact the neighborhood council. But I don't have control whether they do or not.
Y obviamente que como nosotros hacemos con todos los permisos, cuando el peticionario viene con uno de nosotros, fuertemente les recomendamos que vayan a visitar al concilio del barrio, pero no tenemos control que si la persona lo va a ver o no.
So, but the two members of the neighborhood council have spoken in opposition to this. So I wonder if we should continue this and try to get the parties to meet in the meantime.
Obviamente, desgraciadamente, el concilio del barrio ha hablado en oposición a su posición y creo que a lo mejor es posible o apropiado que continuemos esta propuesta para más tarde.
I'm not making a motion yet, but I just want to see if anybody else has anything to say.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Allen. We'll go to Councilor Govan, followed by Councilor Walsh, and then we'll come to Councilor Davila. Councilor Govan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Phil, who was the owner a year and a half ago or 2 years ago?
¿Quién era el dueño hace un año y medio?
I don't know. I would have to look up
So you'd
the
have to look
records
that
to
up.
see who owned it.
Okay.
No
okay,
sé,
'cause-
tendría que
Right now,
buscar.
it's a Harriet Cohen Trustees, but I don't know who owned it previously.
Okay.
No estoy consciente
yeah.
quién era el dueño anteriormente de la propiedad.
And, thank you, Phil. I guess I wanted to ask the council, the South End Citizens Council, do you guys have someone at the council that speaks Spanish that he could come to? Okay,
Le
okay.
quiero preguntar al concilio del barrio de que si tienen una persona que habla en español. Contestaron que sí tenemos.
So I think I agree with Councilor Allen that maybe we should continue it and let him go to the council and have some conversations about it, because it sounds like, we all want businesses to succeed, but we also do want to take into consideration the neighborhood.
Estoy de acuerdo con el consejero Alan de que a lo mejor deberíamos de continuar esto para una fecha más tarde, para que así darle la oportunidad a usted de que vaya a visitar el concilio del barrio y puedan hablar.
Can I make a motion to continue? Is that where we do that
Yes,
now?
you can.
If I could.
Voy a hacer una moción para continuar esta propuesta para una fecha más tarde.
Councilor Galvan has made a motion to continue. The hearing is open, so it can be continued, and then we could take additional testimony at a future hearing. And so, is there a second to the motion to continue?
Second.
Motion to continue was seconded by Councilor
Sí, es una
Allen.
moción para continuar y la aprobaron para debatir la hora de la moción si le vamos a continuar el caso o no.
Is there any discussion on the motion to continue this item?
I had my hand raised.
Yes, Councilor Walsh on the motion.
Yeah, before the motion was suggested, I had my hand raised. And I want to say, I think all of us are thinking alike tonight. I don't want this individual to be judged on what someone else did, but I also think the residents have some really valid quality of life concerns. But if we don't grant it tonight, there's 2 years before anything can be done. Is that correct?
Yo estoy también de acuerdo. Creo que le debemos dar la oportunidad de que usted vaya a hablar con el concilio del barrio, ya de que si le negamos la petición hoy día, usted tendría que esperar 2 años antes de poder pedir permiso otra vez.
That is correct, Councilor Walsh. If a permit's denied, it can't come back before the city council for 2 years without a unanimous vote of the planning board. Councilor Davila.
Sí, eso es correcto, consejera Walsh. Si le negamos el permiso hoy, tiene que esperar 2 años antes de que vaya a hablar otra vez con la comisión de planificación.
It should be noted that if this is continued with the hearing open, it would go to the next session of the city council.
Sin embargo, si lo continuamos, sería para la próxima reunión de la Asamblea Municipal,
Where myself and Councilor Hurst will not be serving.
en la cual mi persona y el consejero Hurst no vamos a estar en el gobierno.
However, consistent with past rulings, the new councilors could still vote as long as they reviewed the hearing.
Sin embargo, los nuevos asambleístas pueden votar en la petición siempre y cuando ya tengan la oportunidad de repasar el caso.
Councilor Walsh, you still have the floor.
Señora
Thank you.
Walsh,
In that case, I'm going to support the motion to see if the parties can work together.
sí, yo voy a apoyar la moción para que continuemos el caso.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Govan, on your motion.
Oh, did you want, I think he had his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Councilor Davila,
yes.
did you want to speak on the motion?
Yes, I do,
Yes,
Mr.
Councilor
President.
Davila, the floor is yours.
If we could revert roles with Councilor Govan. First, Mr. President, I would like to compliment you, sir, on your outstanding job in ensuring and going out of your way to ensure that the petitioner is properly heard.
Primeramente, quiero felicitar al señor presidente por poder acomodar el señor que no habla inglés y para traducir.
Yo te...
I knew that would happen.
I'll get a little bit of it, Councilor Davila. Go ahead, keep going. I'll figure it out.
Then I'll say it in English.
That was my brain going back and forth.
I can do about this much in Polish for us, too, if we get there. You know.
Mr. President, I do have a plethora of questions, but seeing that the esteemed lady, Councilor Govan, has made a motion to continue, which I will fully support, I will keep my comments in observation.
Tiene muchas preguntas, pero como la consejera hizo una moción para continuar, él puede hacer una observación.
And that is, Mr. President, that as we all know, our city has changed.
Eso es, señor presidente, que como nosotros sabemos, esta ciudad ha cambiado.
It is now a majority city
Es una ciudad mayoría, minoría,
with a very diverse population, which it only makes our great city better and enriches us.
con una población bien diversa y que la hace mejor.
And I believe that this wise and humble body has to come up to terms with that, and we should start be looking about proper translation for petitioners in hearings, so that the hearing can go better, more smoothly, and I'm sure that we can find the sources for that and have that in place, and it's something that I look forward to collaborating for next year.
Que este equipo, bien sabio, ¿verdad?
Sabiduría.
Podemos hacer un trabajo mejor para acomodar a la gente que vienen aquí, que son bien diversas, de diferentes idiomas, y que esperamos que en el futuro podemos tener una traducción mejor, que sea más profesional, y que podemos acomodar a todo el mundo, ¿verdad?
And I don't know if I could ask a question now, Mr. President, or are we just debating amongst the motion itself?
Certainly. The motion to continue is on the floor. You can't ask a question if it pertains to influencing your vote on the motion to continue.
But in that case, if I may, I want to ask the good people from South End Community Center, the South End Citizens Council. So a quick question, if I may, Mr. President.
Quiere hacer una pregunta al concilio de la del sur.
Hi, Leo. Hi. It's good to see you. Always such a scholar and a gentleman, sir.
Es bueno verte.
So, Leo, if I understood correctly, the main concern you guys have is, one, the petitioner did not meet with you guys.
Si él entiende bien, la preocupación primaria es que el peticionar no lo vio a ustedes.
And apparently there has been some issues with cars on the street and having improper tags, correct?
Y han tenido asuntos con los carros en la calle y que no han tenido licencia correcta.
Yes, I'm just going by, like I said, the reports that were brought to us during the meetings.
Y eso es verdad, yo estoy yendo por lo que me han dicho.
Understood. Okay. Would you be willing to meet with the petitioners, you guys?
¿Usted está disponible a reunirse con el peticionario?
Would we be willing to meet? Absolutely.
Claro que sí, absolutamente.
Well, thank you, Leo. Very kind of you. I do have a question for the petitioner, if I may, Mr. President. Senor Rodriguez? Mr. President, if you allow it, I would love to address the petitioner in the native tongue. Maybe...
I'll translate in English.
Yeah, we could reverse roles here.
Yes, go ahead.
Buenas noches, señor Rodríguez.
Buenas noches.
Good evening, Mr. Rodriguez.
¿Usted cuánto tiempo lleva en operaciones en este local?
Básicamente yo llevo como más de 20 años siendo mecánico y ¿sabe?
En este local.
En este local no llevo mucho. Yo estaba trabajando para otras personas anteriormente, pero decidí abrir mi propio negocio. Entonces, como yo hago mecánica, pues mucha gente me conoce. Entonces yo quiero, ¿sabe? Si usted me da la oportunidad, ¿sabe? De empezar ahí y buscar otro...
Señor Rodríguez, discúlpeme, para que la señora traduzca, hay que traducir. ¿Está bien?
Yo voy a traducirle en inglés.
Councilor Gabon.
So he said, Councilor Davila asked him how long he has been operating. He said he's been a mechanic for more than 20 years, and he's been doing this work. And then Councilor Davila clarified, how long have you been at that location? I don't know if he answered that question yet.
Déjase. Señor Rodríguez, específicamente en esta localidad, ¿cuánto tiempo lleva ahí?
Ahí yo llevo como año y medio, 2 años, ¿sabes? No llevo mucho tiempo ahí, ¿sabes?
Bien.
So Councilor Davila said, how long have you been at that location? He said about a year and a half.
Y señor Rodríguez, me gustaría que usted me diera su opinión de las preocupaciones que tienen el Concilio del Barrio,
And are you aware of the concerns that the council has, the South End Council has?
específicamente ellos dicen que usted está haciendo mecánica en la calle y en la acera,
Specifically that you're doing auto work in the street and in the sidewalks.
Como le digo, mira, muchos de los clientes que llevan el taller, porque eso es un poquito incómodo, ¿sabes? Yo le entiendo a ella, a la vecina mía, yo le entiendo. Y, ¿sabes? Cuando va un cliente, yo le digo, mira, traten de parquear los carros en el parqueo, porque pasarle ella del driveway es un poco difícil. Eso yo lo considero.
Okay, so he said that he's aware of the concerns. He said that a lot of people know him and a lot of people will come to him, and he does ask them to park in the parking lot. He knows that the space is tight there, and that he tries to take that into consideration.
Señor Rodríguez, yo entiendo que en nuestro país es una práctica común.
¿Cómo fue?
In our island, that's a common practice. It's
Sin
to just
embargo,
do
aquí está
mechanic
prohibido.
anywhere.
Sin embargo, aquí está prohibido.
And here it is prohibited.
¿Usted entiende eso? Okay.
And he understands.
Y la cuestión de los carros sin placas y sin inspección.
The cars that are without tags and uninspected and unregistered. And if,
En ese punto que usted me está trayendo ahora mismo, antes de yo abrir el negocio, ¿sabe? Yo había hablado con Jeff, que es el dueño del local, y él tiene el parqueo al frente. Y él me dijo a mí que yo podía parquear los carros en el parqueo de él, después que no haga carros desmantelados ahí, que no sean yonqueo. Y, ¿sabe? El parqueo siempre está limpiecito. Si me trae un carro y el carro no está corriendo, ¿sabe? El carro no está en la carretera, está parqueado en un sitio privado.
So he said that he, before he opened his business, he spoke to Jeff, I guess is the owner of the parking lot across the street, and they agreed that he could park the cars across the street, but as long as they were not junk cars and that they were, that it's kept clean, the parking lot.
Y por último, ¿usted entiende la petición que estamos haciendo que continuar para la próxima reunión su petición para que usted tenga la oportunidad de reunirse con el South End Citizen Council o el Consejo del Barrio para que se conozcan y para que hablen estos temas?
And lastly, do you understand that we are in the process of trying to continue the motion so that you can meet with the South End Citizens Council so that you guys can meet each other and talk about the concerns?
Y les recomiendo fuertemente que se reúna con ellos.
Okay.
Porque si usted viene por ahí y se reúne con ellos, no le va a ir bien.
And he said that he's strongly recommend that he meets with them, and because if you don't meet with them, that's the neighborhood council, and they're the ones that we go to. Can I say something to him in Spanish?
What was that?
Can I say something to him?
That will be up to the president.
If that's okay, Mr. President. Nada más que para que dejarles saber que ellos tienen a alguien que habla español que pueden ayudarlo con la traducción. So I just informed him that you do have someone that speaks Spanish that will be able to help him with the translation. Thank you, Mr. Councilor Davila.
Y señor Rodríguez, pues bueno, muchas gracias. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And
Gracias.
again, Mr. President, I'm going to conclude by complimenting you, sir. Highly impressed. And again, sir, I look forward to working how this wise and humble body can provide translations in all the enriched language that we have city here when we have a petitioner coming to this body for a petitioner, because I think things get lost in translation. But thank you, Mr. President. Those are my questions. I will be happy to support in the motion to continue.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. I appreciate you. And also relative to your comments last month, I did instruct the clerk to begin the process of amending the special permit applications to allow for individuals to indicate that they will need interpretation services to put us on a pathway to simultaneous interpretation, and I am confident that the next body will be able to implement that project.
My compliments.
And so with that, are there any further members that wish to be heard on the motion to continue? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to continue this to the next hearings meeting of the City Council.
On the motion to continue, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst, absent. Counselor Click Bruce, absent. Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. This item is continued to the next hearings meeting, and planning will be in touch to facilitate communication.
Should I say that?
Yes, if you could please inform me.
So, la moción pasó, fue continuado para el próximo reunión de hearings y le van a mandar información, ¿ok? Ellos se van a, you're going to communicate with him? Okay, ellos se van a comunicar con usted.
Thank you all.
Mr. President.
Madam Clerk, please call item 4, and again, my great appreciation to Councilor Govan and Councilor Davila.
Item 4 is to amend 2 existing special permits, automotive repair and used car sales, granted February 2014 at the property known as 1213 Worcester Street.
Is the petitioner present? Please step forward. This is a special permit hearing run in accordance with the rules of the Springfield City Council. Proponents will receive 20 minutes to present their special permit. Opponents will be entitled to the same, both sides entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. At this time, I'll declare that the public hearing is now open. Recognize the petitioner as the first proponent. Please state your name and address for the record.
Maurice Spencer, 1213 Worcester Street, Indian Orchard.
Thank you, and the floor is yours. So you could just tell the council a little bit about your special permit application.
Just trying to open up a car lot. It was already a car lot and some small repairs.
And is there anything else you wish to offer at this time?
No.
All right, thank you very much. We ask you to step aside, and we would ask if there are any further individuals present to speak in favor of the special permit. Say again, are there anybody here who would like to speak in favor? Sir, please step forward. State your name and address for the record.
Ronald Brace again. Very simple. Yes, I support the brother. He's trying to do honest business. I think we should get behind him. There's no reason not to. He's a good man. He's trying to make an honest living. That's all.
Thank you very much. Are there any further individuals present virtually or in person to speak in favor? Please state your name and address for the record.
Bruno Fernandez, 190 Lakeview Avenue. I'm here on behalf of Maurice. I've known him for a long time. He's a great business person. He's always been a stand-up person. In the past, had used car lots and repair facilities. I've been dealing with him for over 20 years, and I just want to be here and support him on his behalf. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any further individuals who wish to testify in favor? The floor is yours. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sean Warren, 53 Peekskill Avenue. He's a great individual. Matter of fact, his business is right next door to mine, and just give him a chance as well.
Thank you very much. Are there any further individuals present to speak in favor, either virtually or in person? Say again, any further individuals present to speak in favor virtually or in person? Seeing none, are there any individuals present to speak in opposition to the special permit, either in person or virtually? Say again, are there any individuals present to speak in opposition? Seeing none, are there any questions from members of the council while the public hearing remains open? Councilor Govan.
Not a question, but just a comment because Mr. Spencer did come to the Indian Orchard Citizens Council and presented, right, you did? Or somebody did. It almost happens, I apologize. But he did come before the council and presented his plan, and as he said, it is an auto sales place anyways right now. The council was in agreement that he should continue doing business there, and we are in support of his petition.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Are there any further members of the council that wish to provide a question or commentary while the public hearing remains open? Seeing none, without objection, I'll declare that the public hearing is now closed. Is there any deliberation amongst the council prior to our vote on the special permit? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to approve the permit. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On approval of the permit, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst, absent. Counselor Click Bruce, absent. Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The special permit is approved. Congratulations. Counselor Fenton on the reasons.
The specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use, and we incorporate the planning staff's analysis into the decision as the basis of our findings.
Thank you, Counselor Fenton. Is there any discussion on the reasons? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the reasons.
On approval of the reasons, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst, absent. Counselor Click Bruce, absent. Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 5.
Item 5 is for a special permit to install fencing higher than 8 feet at the property known as 160 Jones Street.
Is the petitioner present? Please step forward. This is a special permit hearing. Will be run in accordance with the same rules as previously stated. Proponents will be entitled to 20 minutes. Opponents will be entitled to the same. Both sides are entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. At this time, I'll declare that the public hearing is open. Recognize the petitioner as the first proponent. Please state your name and address for the record.
Evan Andrikos, Weston and Sampson, 45 Cars Pond Road. West
Could you say
Springfield.
that one more time? I'm so sorry.
Evan Andrikos with Weston and Sampson Engineers.
Thank you. Floor is yours.
Thank you. So tonight we are just here to request special permit for the installation of a 10-foot height fencing associated with the 5 post-tension concrete tennis courts. The site currently is just an existing open lawn lot. It's directly adjacent to an existing parking lot, school drop-off area, and Jones Street. What we're proposing is 5 concrete courts with the 10-foot height fencing around it. The courts will be consistent with nets and posts, line striping, color seal coat, all typical with what you would see with traditional tennis courts. As well as the courts, we're going to be doing pedestrian access from the school to the courts to provide accessibility, as well as any and all stormwater measures to take runoff from the courts to a proposed stormwater detention basin.
Thank you. Do you wish to offer anything further?
That'll be it. Thank you.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Are there any further individuals present to speak in favor of the special permit, either virtually or in person? Say again, any individuals present, either virtually or in person, to speak in favor? Councilor Brown, I see you have your hand up. Do you have a point of order?
No. I'm waiting to speak.
Councilor Brown, could you repeat that?
No, Mr. President. I was just basically going to say, let the petitioner know that they do a great job.
Oh, thank you very much, Councilor Brown. Are there any further individuals present to speak in favor of the special permit? Seeing none, are there any individuals present to speak in opposition to the special permit? Please step forward. Well, if you could state your name and address for the record.
It's Joy Benoit. It's Shepherd Drive, 16 Shepherd Drive.
Ms. Benoit, could you just pull that microphone down to your mouth?
You really can't hear me?
Thank you so much.
Only the tennis courts, is that what we're talking? So here's my problem with this whole hearing tonight. Why did you waste our time for just the tennis court when I was under the impression it was the whole facility? I've just sat here for over an hour listening to stuff that didn't pertain to me, my house, my neighborhood, or anything, and this doesn't say anything about tennis courts. I guess that's a city council thing?
No.
No?
Petition.
Ms. Benoit, is that your abutters notice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because here I am thinking you want to put an 8-foot fence, or 10-foot fence, whatever it is, 8 foot, all around the whole property. So I'm like livid, because you already have a 6-foot. But tennis courts, I don't have a problem with. You know what I mean? Sure. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much.
Wasted my time.
Are there any further individuals present who wish to speak in opposition to the special permit at this time? Seeing no further individuals wishing to speak in opposition, at this time, are there any questions from members of the City Council? Say again, are there any questions from members of the City Council? Seeing none. Oh, Councilor Walsh.
Mr. President,
My
I
apologies.
did have a hand up. Because I'm virtual, I can't see the rendering of the drawing.
Oh, certainly. I can have Focus zoom in on that for you, so
Because
you'll
I'm
have the
not-
opportunity
I'm
to
not
see.
quite sure where they want to put these tennis courts.
Would you? It's only one camera. Oh, got it. In just a moment, Councilor Walsh, they're going to zoom in on that so that you're able to see the rendering.
Thank you very much.
And again, the hearing remains open. We are on questions from councilors. Councilor Walsh still has the floor.
Thank you for that. It clarifies it.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Brown?
Like I said before, I just want to reiterate the fact that the institution itself really does a stellar job with education and the facility itself. It's beautiful. I just want to make sure that all our schools and our facilities are running the same kind of way. But just want to make a point to let them know they do a great job. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Are there any further questions from members of the council while the hearing remains open? Seeing none, without objection, I'll declare that the public hearing is now closed. Is there any deliberation amongst members of the council prior to our vote on the special permit? Councilor Allen?
I just have a question. Did we receive a letter from the 16-acre Civic Association?
Madam Clerk, have we received any notice from the 16-acre Civic Association?
We haven't.
Because I was at the meeting when they presented, and I thought they might have sent a letter, but there were no issues to speak of. I'm just curious.
Thank you, Councilor Allen.
Thank you.
Is there any further deliberation amongst members of the council? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the special permit. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On approval of the special permit, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst, absent. Councilor Click-Bruce, absent. Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The permit is approved. Councilor Fenton on the reasons.
The specific site is in an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use, and we incorporate the planning staff's analysis into the decision as the basis of our findings.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Is there any discussion on the reasons? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the reasons.
On approving the reasons, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown. Councilor Brown? Away, Councilor? Yes. Yes. Counselor Hurst absent. Counselor Click Bruce absent. Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 6.
Item 6 is for a special permit to expand the residential component of a mixed-use building at the property known as 275 Chestnut Street.
It's a special permit run in accordance with the rules of the Springfield City Council. Proponents will be entitled to 20 minutes before the council. Opponents are entitled to the same right. Both sides are entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. This time I'll declare that the public hearing is now open and recognize the petitioner as the first proponent. Please state your name and address for the record.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
I'm going to recuse myself. My employer represents the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Please mark Councilor Fenton as recused, and the floor is
Thank you.
yours. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, everyone. Ellen Fryman, 1441 Main Street, Springfield. I am here representing BH Chestnut Crossing LLC, which is an affiliate of Home City Development, Inc. With me this evening is Tom Kegelman, the Executive Director of Home City Development, Inc. We are here to request a special permit to allow additional housing units to be built at 275 Chestnut Street. That is the property of the formerly located YMCA. And we, right now, Chestnut Crossing LLC, BH Chestnut Crossing LLC operates 101 units in the building. We were here previously to obtain a special permit to allow for that housing, and now we have funding to allow for additional units to be built within the same footprint, so the building isn't changing. This is a special permit to request that we be allowed to go up to 135 units. Actually, this special permit has already been granted, but these projects take a while to be put together with all the funding, and so the 2 years has lapsed. So we are getting close now to going to the closing. So we had to come back. We're back here now for a so-called like a renewal of this permit, except we have to start over and the 2 years starts over. So along with the request for the special permit, we are also asking for a waiver, which you're authorized to approve along with, in conjunction with the special permit, to allow for a reduction in the parking. So we are required to have up to 150 parking spaces, but our design only allows for 130 spaces. Even still, this is more than adequate for the use for the number of residents, because not that many of them have cars, first of all. Secondly, this is on a marked area for public transportation. So we have several bus routes that service this area. So again, you found last time that this was adequate, and so we're asking again that this be approved. This is a well-maintained property, and the improvements have been, ongoing there. So it's a benefit to the city. We did go to the Lower Liberty Heights Neighborhood Council, and they have approved the project. So we're available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Attorney Fryman. Are there any further individuals present who wish to speak in favor of the special permit? Seeing none, are there any individuals present who wish to speak in opposition to the special permit? Say again, are any individuals present who wish to speak in opposition, either in person or virtually? Seeing none, are there any questions from members of the City Council? Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attorney Fryman, if I may. Good evening. It's good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Quick question. So we want to go up. We currently have 101 units there.
There's 101 units currently, and they're all they all have tenants, correct? Fully tenanted, the 101 units. Yes. Yep.
Right. Now, I believe, well, first of all, before I ask you, I want to compliment the work that you guys done there, because that place has really been transformed. And it looks nice, it's clean, well painted, well lit. So kudos. Kudos for that. But so we have 101 units. I believe are they all single
room occupancy. Yeah, they're known as
one
SROs.
person.
Correct.
Okay. And you want to add an extra 34?
Up to 34.
Up
right.
to 34.
I know, yeah, it might not be all that that many all at one time, but we don't want to come back again, so we're going to.
Right. So we could have up to 135 units.
That's correct.
Okay. And plus you're asking to reduce, you have 150 parking spots now.
No, we don't. We have the number that's required for the 101 units, but by adding the additional units, we would have to go up to 150 spaces. But we can only fit 130, which is, again, overparked for this use.
Is that 130 spaces also accommodate staff, employees?
Yes.
Okay. And the big question is, which way are you building, up or sideways?
We're not, it's all within the confines
there.
of the existing footprint.
Oh,
There's
okay.
more space available from was former YMCA space. So,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I should tell you, we're going to the ZBA on Wednesday night for a variance because the back portion of the building where the pool is and the gym, that's being demolished. And
Right.
so, and we're cutting the property into 2 lots. So that's also part of this project, but it's not required to come, City Council doesn't have to approve that.
Right.
But that is the long-term, that's part of this project, is that so what's going to remain is just the living quarters of the building.
Right. And these 34 extra units, they're also going to be single use?
Single room occupancy.
Yeah, these are studio apartments.
If you could come to the mic, I will be, thank you, sir.
Tom
evening.
Kegelman, Executive Director, Home City Development. The units are efficiencies. They have a small kitchenette and a
Right.
separate bathroom. So sometimes SROs indicate a shared kitchen or a shared these are independent studio apartments.
All right. So again, those 34 units will be single use, one person? One person for the single?
One person, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. And again, my compliments. That's a success story, that corner. I'm really impressed with it. And you guys doing a very good job there. And I'm thrilled that this is also helping to alleviate, to a small degree, the housing crisis that we have here in the unit. So these are very welcoming news. Thank you so much. Mr. President, I will be delighted to vote for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Perez?
Yes, excuse me, I'm under the weather. For the purpose of information, I have visited the site with Mr. Tom. Hi, Mr. Tom. And it seems that it's appropriate. I have to emphasize that I will be voting in support. We all know the crisis that we have with housing in the city of Springfield, specifically for single man or woman. And I visit the existing rooms that he has, and wow, it's a different from what it was before. So I will be voting in support of this project. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Councilor Allen?
Thanks, Mr. President. Tom, is there tremendous demand for this? You're fully occupied now, and there's
Long waiting lists.
long waiting list. Wow.
So
so that's indicative of the housing problem we have in the city, apparently. And what about the car situation? How many people have cars? Roughly, how many people have cars?
Well, I think of the 101 units, typically we have maybe 40 cars. Can I present this? Or?
Yes.
This is a Google picture of the site on a typical day, and you can see for the 101 units and the staff and everybody, there might be 30 cars. And we're adding, proportionately 30 units, or 29 units, so it's, if we add maybe another 10 cars, that would probably be all.
But in any event, even if you added another 30 or something, capacity is 130.
Yeah, we have more than enough.
Okay, thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Govan?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. And I guess I also didn't have any questions. I've been to the Chestnut Crossings, and I think it's a beautiful property. And I know that your agency, Mr. Kegelman, does great work, neighborhood home city housing. I keep wanting them to come to Indian Orchard, but they haven't done that yet. But I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to voting for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Govan. Counselor Whitfield?
Thank you, Mr. President. Hey, Tom, good to see you. My question is more on the contracting side, because of course I've seen the properties, they're beautiful, really efficient. There's really no waste, which is great. But on the subcontracting side, how do you go about doing your bids?
I'm sorry, the question is about how do we bid the construction?
Yes, yes.
So we require that the contractors meet a certain hiring requirements, and we work very aggressively to make sure that they meet those requirements. We basically have taken the city's hiring requirements in terms of women and minorities and minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses, and incorporated them into our construction contracts.
That's good to hear, Tom. Again, I'm going to vote in favor of this, of course, but I did just want to make sure that we knew the process. Do you advertise your construction contracts or send an email to developers that you have on file?
It's not a publicly bid process like perhaps the city would be required to do, but our contractors have, our general contractor has hundreds of contractors, and we're actively recruiting minority-owned businesses to add to the bid list so that we make sure we get a maximum number of minority and women-owned businesses in the bidding lists.
And how will one get on the bidding list, Tom?
Call me.
Oh, you said?
So we're always recruiting, and we're always expanding it. We're actively working with a number of groups, and we're actually seeking funding to establish a Springfield-based minority hiring council that will bring in minority contractors and women-owned contractors on a regular basis and make sure that they are well connected with all the contractors in the area.
Oh, that sounds great. I hope you find the funding, you know?
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor Whitfield. Are there any further counselors who wish to pose any questions while the public hearing remains open? Seeing none, without objection, we'll declare that the public hearing is now closed. Is there any deliberation amongst members of the council prior to our vote on the special permit?
I have a
Counselor
question.
Allen.
So there's a special permit, and the special permit include the parking, or is that a separate?
Correct, yes. I consulted with Phil, and so the parking reduction is included as a part of the site plan review that is in the special permit.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely. Are there any further questions or deliberation amongst the council prior to our vote on the special permit? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the permit. 2/3 majority vote is required.
On approval of the permit, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton, recused. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst. Absent. Counselor Click Bruce. Absent. Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The special permit is approved. Counselor Govan on the reasons.
The reasons for granting the special permit. 1, the specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use to incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Is there any discussion on the reasons? Seeing none, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the reasons.
On approval of the reasons, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton, recused. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst absent. Counselor Click Bruce absent. Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call the final item.
The last item on the agenda is a zoning change. To change the zoning of the properties known as Northside Williams Street from Residence C to Business A.
This is a zone change hearing. Will be run in accordance with the rules of the Springfield City Council. Proponents will be entitled to 20 minutes. Opponents are entitled to the same. Each side is entitled to 5 minutes of rebuttal. At this time, I'll declare that the public hearing is open and recognize you as the first proponent. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. For the record, Philippe Crevo of R. Levesque Associates, 40 School Street, Westfield. I am here tonight with the applicant of Springfield Day Nursery Corporation, Don DiStefano, President and CEO. Also with us tonight is Ms. Sarah LaCour of West Mass Development, working on the project as well. These two properties that we are requesting a zone change are located off of William Street, in between William and Hubbard. We have received the analysis from the Planning and Economic Development Department, which gave a favorable recommendation for approval of the proposed zone change. Essentially, we're taking two properties that have adjacent Business A zoning and bringing their current residency into Business A to facilitate the site improvements for a new daycare facility. So if there's any questions, I can certainly try and answer them.
Thank you very much. Does that conclude your testimony? Thank you. Are there any further individuals present to speak in favor of the zone change? Mr. Florian, please state your name and address for the record.
Leo Florian, President, South End Citizens Council, and we're here to support this petition tonight. Square One has been a part of the neighborhood for many, many, many years. We lost them during the tornado for a little while, but we're very happy to see them come back. We've met with them a number of times. We've talked about the plans, the potential plans for that area, and we can't wait to see it happen, and we all strongly support the zone change that they're looking for.
Thank you, Mr. Florian. Are there any further individuals present virtually or in person to speak in favor of the special permit, or the zone change, I should say? Seeing none, are there any individuals present virtually or in person to speak in opposition to the zone change? Again, any individuals present to speak in opposition? Seeing none, are there any questions from members of the council while the hearing remains open? Councilor Allen?
Thanks, Mr. President. Yeah, could you give us an update on the timetable for, here's the zone change, but are you going to be building a new building?
Ms. DiStefano, if you could just state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Dawn DiStefano, 80 Audubon Avenue, West Springfield. Timeline. We are moving forward with financing, which should be secured by March. We're hoping to break ground in spring, April or May. We expect a 12 to 18-month construction period, so the opening would be probably fall of 2025.
Excuse me. How many students would you expect to be able to?
Sure. We're building 4 classrooms, which will allow the service of 80 preschool-age children. We will also have family support services located in the building. We have 4 different home visiting services that we will deploy from that site. So we'll be welcoming families as well as children at that site.
And the other site that I'm familiar with in Springfield is on King Street. Do you have other ones besides that?
No, King Street is the only other site that we do own. We rent space from the Christian Life Center at 1590 Sumner Avenue, where we also provide preschool services and school-age services to children in Springfield.
Great. Thanks, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Are there any other questions from members of the council? Councilor Davila?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Fano, thank you for being here. Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for carrying the little angels. I just want to make sure that I understand. So you want to take two properties on William Street and combine them?
Yes, sir.
And are you relocating or are you expanding?
We're returning. We used to, Springfield Day Nursery owned that land, minus the residential piece. So we're adding the residential piece and looking to combine all those parcels. Prior to the tornado, that is where we were located. We lost that land. We sold it because we had fallen on financial hard times. We have purchased the land back. Right now, we're renting space at 1095 Main Street, but there isn't any green space for children to play. So our lease was coming to an end, and we thought that it would be time to move back home.
Right. So you were there before. And so, but now you want to expand. You want to provide services to the families?
We're providing those services currently at our rented space in 1095 Main Street.
Sure.
So
Go ahead.
we'd be moving those services over to the new building. The expansion would be the availability of early learning and care. Our rented space had allowed us to serve one classroom, so we'd be expanding to 4 classrooms.
And what kind of services are you providing to the families?
We have 4 different home visiting services. They range in home visiting services for first-time parents to all parents of children under the age of 5. We also have a home visiting program for parents in recovery with children under the age of 5.
Right.
So our offices serve as sort of a landing place for home visitors to pick up their materials before they deploy into the community, because the majority of our services are offered in people's homes.
Right.
But we offer parenting education and support groups. So at times in the evening, we'll provide activities for families inside the building.
And so my last question is, you say 80 students, so you're going to have 80 kids at that location?
80 children, yes, sir.
And you have adequate parking for drop-off? What about the drop-off?
Yes, yes.
Is that going to be drop-off on William Street? Where are they going to get dropped off?
I'm going to look at Sarah, who is part of our development team.
Yes.
It's, we have a 2-way entrance. Do you want to explain it, Sarah? I am so sorry. I don't want to.
Sure.
Sarah LaCour,
Hi, Sarah.
124 North Whitney Street, Amherst, Mass., representing West Mass Development, who's helping with this project. The site, as laid out right now, our thinking, and one of the reasons we wanted to pick up those 2 residential spaces, is this would allow us smoother access, vehicular access coming through, so that there was a safe drop-off and a place where buses or vans could come through and children could get on and off that way. So there's sort of a through drop-off separate from a parking area, and then also away from a play area that would be separate.
So is that drop-off going to be on the property itself?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's going to be
that's,
away. Okay.
that's why these 2 lots help us, because we're between those 2 roads, Hubbard and Williams,
Yeah.
and this provides a smooth drop-off
Got you.
going right through the site.
Got you. Good. Okay, those are my questions. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any further questions while the hearing remains open? Councilor Govan?
No questions. I just think that, of course, I know Don and Springfield Day Nursery has been doing a lot of great work in the community for a very long time. And I think this is a great opportunity to expand and offer more services to our community. So I certainly encourage us to vote for the zone change. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Are there any additional questions from councilors while the hearing remains open? Seeing none, Without objection, I'll declare that the public hearing is now closed. Is there any deliberation amongst members of the council prior to our vote on the zone change? Seeing no further deliberation, without objection, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the zone change. A two-thirds majority vote is required.
On approving the zone change, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst, absent. Counselor Click Bruce, absent. Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The zone change is approved. Madam Clerk, is there any further business properly brought before this body?
No, there's not.
Members, before we adjourn, I just want to ensure that all members received the invitation to the dedication of E. Henry Twiggs Way, which will be taking place this Sunday at 2 o'clock in front of the councilor's home at 78 Westminster Street. And I want to especially thank the councilors that were able to contribute towards the cost of the signs and those that reached out to contribute after we had already raised the funds necessary. So thank you to everybody. We'll look forward to seeing folks there, and we'll have a press release with details going out on that very shortly. And at this time, the council will stand adjourned.